religious liberty for me has been a passion for decades. And actually, I think all of these questions are interrelated.
Why? Actually, why?
Because it is the first freedom in our country. That it is the first right protected in the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights. It is the foundation of everything else in America. This country was founded.
But I guess, what does it mean to you
because
personally?
If you can't worship God, all other liberties are taken away. Let me tell you a story from Cuba. After Castro took over Cuba, Castro's army soldiers would go into kindergarten classes. And they would tell all of the kids there, they'd say, close your eyes and pray to Jesus for candy. The kids would do that. Kids would open their eyes, there'd be no candy. Then the soldiers would say, close your eyes and pray to Fidel Castro for candy. The kids would do it, and the soldiers would put candy on their desks. That brainwashing started when it was young. And listen, this is personal for me. My grandmother was a 6th grade teacher in Cuba. She was there when Castro took over. She was told, you must brainwash and educate these kids in communism. And my grandmother faced a choice. She ended up feigning insanity. She literally began screaming and foaming at the mouth and ran screaming out of her classroom. She got a doctor friend to fake a diagnosis that she was insane. She would rather live with the shame and the stigma of being insane than participate in brainwashing these kids. And it's one of the real blessings when you come from a family. You know, a lot of folks here have gotten to know my dad. You know, my dad speaks from the heart. When you've seen freedom taken away, it is real, it is personal, and if we don't fight to defend our liberty, we will lose it. Now, when it comes to religious liberty, these issues, I think, are interconnected. Political correctness, the best answer to political correctness is speaking the truth. Why do these protesters want to stand up and scream, stand up and disrupt? Because they can't handle the truth. They don't want the truth. They want to shout you down. You know, you talked about being a university professor. We're seeing universities all across this country with leftist coddled kids, usually with trust funds, protesting against the horrible oppression because the microaggression, I heard a word that scared me. What is wrong with our universities? And the answer to all of this is truth. You know, I was at a rally in front of the White House against this horrible Iranian nuclear deal. The White House press secretary called, there was a rally for the hostages in Iran, people like Pastor Saeed Abedini. The White House called us a pro-war rally because we were rallying for the hostages. Midway through the rally, Code Pink is there. They begin doing just like what these protesters were, screaming and yelling and trying to shut the whole thing down. I was at the microphone in front of a bunch of TV cameras. And I said, you know, the great thing about the First Amendment, it allows civil debate, but it doesn't allow us simply to shout down and silence another speaker. And I invited the head of Code Pink, Medea Benjamin, come on up here. If you want to have a debate, come on up to the microphone right now. You got all the TV cameras. Let's talk about the Iranian nuclear deal. Now, we got to agree, you're not going to scream and yell and holler everyone down. We'll have a discussion about the substance of it. And we had a 20-minute debate. You can Google it and watch the debate back and forth with the head of Code Pink talking about the substance. You know, we had something similar to that. You were talking about religious liberty and discrimination. Here in Iowa at the Iowa State Fair, I was grilling up some pork chops. And a young lady came up and confronted me, who I discovered later was an actress, a woman named Ellen Page. I didn't know who she was at the time, but she confronted me, so I had a conversation with her. And she began attacking, and the standard attack of the left is essentially, why do Republicans hate gay people? Now listen, I'm a Christian. Scripture commands us to love everybody. Every one of us is a sinner. Scripture tells us, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. But at the same time, I'm proud to defend both the definition of marriage, the union of one man and one woman that was ordained by God, and the religious liberty of those who believe in a biblical definition of marriage not being persecuted by their government. But I'll tell you, Frank, when I asked Ms. Page, you want to talk about protecting discrimination, tell me, why are you not distressed about the fact that Iran and ISIS are murdering homosexuals right now? Why are you not asking President Obama, why are you sending $100 billion to the Ayatollah Khamenei who murders homosexuals? You want to talk about an assault on gay rights? How about not murdering the homosexuals?
So I want to bring it back